Good, happy Monday morning. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast. Let's get started. First up, portion of road shut down in Milton following crash, police say. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9.
And turning back now to that breaking news out of Milton, let's take a live look at the Spalding Turnpike right now. State police saying an accident has closed the roadway between exit 17 and exit 18. Drivers are now being asked to seek alternate routes. There's no word yet on injuries or even how many cars are involved. We will bring you the latest as that information becomes available.
Okay, and there you go on that report in that video. Firefighter hit, killed by car while riding bike. A Peabody firefighter riding his bike died from injuries after a crash in Beverly Sunday afternoon. Police said the victim was hit by a car while riding on Hale Street Sunday afternoon. The driver of the car did stay at the scene. Peabody local firefighters 925 identified the victim as Dan. Dan was an avid rider and champion supporter for the MS Society, the statement said. He rode every chance he got, and he fought hard to raise awareness and support for the cause. Dan leaves behind a wife and 2 children. State police were investigating the crash. No charges were immediately filed. Investigation identified a victim in deadly accidental shooting in Baldwin. Let's take a listen to this video from WMTW News 8 in Maine.
Price that matters, it's service that goes with it. At Patriot, that means you'll meet with great financing people and then our Subaru genius. I'm Mike Avery, Patriot Subaru, Saco.
Breaking news out of Baldwin, where one person is confirmed dead following a shooting on Carl Burnell Road. Officials say the 20-year-old victim suffered a gunshot wound to the chest, and the shooting appears to have been accidental. The call came in just before 1:45 this afternoon. 6 men were gathered for recreational shooting and target practice when a rifle jammed. The gun discharged while the men were working on the weapon, critically injuring the victim. Right now, the victim's name has not yet been released. Here's what officials are saying about the incident.
One of the rifles jammed, it appeared at this point, and they were attempting to clear that jam. And while they were doing that, another one walked in the line of fire and was shot. He succumbed to his injuries here at the scene.
We will continue to follow the latest developments in this case, both online and inside the WMTW app.
Okay, and there you go on that report. Up this week, more DC drama, Apple earnings, and a big jobs number. Congress is going home for the summer, and Wall Street is gearing up for the final months of the season in the Hamptons. Jobs Friday, Apple earnings, White House of Honors. That's what's all happening this whole week. State Department says Putin's decision to slash U.S. staff is uncalled for. Let's take a listen to this video from ABC News.
I'm turning old stuff into something amazing. I want to plant a garden for the whole world.
We grow up, but we never stop dreaming. Here at Coke, we challenge ourselves and the status quo to produce innovations like renewable fuel, more energy-efficient vehicles, and food for all. Because what drives us most is challenge itself.
Yeas are 98, the nays are 2. The bill is passed.
There's the moment Thursday when the Senate overwhelmingly passed new sanctions on Russia in response to its interference in the 2016 election. That bill is now on the president's desk, faced with veto-proof majorities in both houses of Congress. The White House said late Friday that President Trump will sign it. Russia's Vladimir Putin had warned before the vote that new sanctions would prompt, quote, retaliation. So I spoke with Russia's deputy foreign minister on his country's response to the U.S. You were the one who notified the Americans that the Russians would be expelling American diplomats and technicians, closing down some facilities. So is this what President Putin was talking about in terms of retaliation?
Yes, it is. And I think this retaliation is long, long overdue. After the Senate, the day before yesterday, voted, or rather on the 27th of July, voted so overwhelmingly on a completely weird and unacceptable piece of legislation, it was the last drop. If the U.S. side decides to move further towards further deterioration, we will answer, we will respond in kind. We will mirror this, we will retaliate. But my call and my whole point is, don't do this. It's to the detriment of the interests of the U.S.
What are you talking about in terms of retaliation? Are you talking about possible sanctions, economic sanctions, punishing U.S. businesses, banning consumer goods?
We have a very rich toolbox at our disposal. It would be ridiculous on my part to start speculating on what may or may not happen. We are not gamblers. We're people who consider things very seriously and very responsibly. But I can assure you.
Okay, and there you go on that report and that video. And also, Russian President Vladimir Putin said in a television interview that the U.S. must cut the size of its diplomatic force in his country by more than half, from about 1,210 to 455. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Monday, and I'll see you back here later on today. Goodbye, everyone.